night nurse's old haunts. In the southern portion of West Slovenia, there lies an abandoned hospital, left completely vacant and neglected. On a cold winter's evening, snow dots the landscape, carried by branches and lying in patches on the ground of the surrounding forest. A large, untouched blanket of snow covers the empty parking lot of the lightless hospital. Then, without warning, a light flickers to life at the drive-up. A figure walks into view beneath the fluorescent lights and stops. A mere silhouette at first, and then more clearly as they continue to walk on toward the entranceway. The figure is feminine and wears a form-fitting nursing uniform, but no winter's coat. Despite the lack of a proper coat at such a time of year, she does not seem to be in a hurry. Closer now. Just a meter or so behind her, we follow as she passes through the entrance, her breath visible and lingering in the cold. She walks up to a greeter's desk and opens her purse, organizing a few items inside. We are now close enough to slip inside, into her mind. The woman is indeed a nurse, and she worked at this very hospital, out here in these neck of the woods, many a year gone by. She has come back to visit her old stomping grounds, and, well, now that she's here, she's quite surprised to see how the fortunes of the old place have changed for the worse. These old stomping grounds. One would think it was a place she was fond of. But no, there are no fond memories here. Now, there's not a soul in sight. She lets out a sigh, remembering the events that took place here well enough, but seeing it in its dilapidated state fills her with mixed emotions. It pains her so to find it abandoned, neglected, and in such disrepair. And yet there is a sense of relief that those activities are no longer occurring. She walks pensively down a long hallway, gazing into rooms once bustling with activity that are now nothing more than empty shells. As she proceeds, she hears something ahead of her. Voices, perhaps, coming from the end of the corridor. Arriving there, she sees a stairwell leading up and down, both ways leading to utter darkness. The basement pathway is blocked, seemingly used as storage for stacks of chairs, plastic trays, and other things that are, to her, just unrecognizable rubbish. Turning her head upward, she hears the ghostly noises once more. Something like the cries of the patients she once cared for. She wonders if the building might not be haunted by the spirits of those who have died there. Images flutter through her mind, none holding still long enough for her to grasp clearly. A fleeting glimpse of a scalpel held aloft before a doctor's face, then of someone digging something shiny out from some small mound of earth, something golden, and then little sparkly gems, each one so precious. And then there are the metal rods, little tiny metal rods, so much pain, so many tears, gems taken, stolen, gold diggers, miners with their wood and metal pickaxes, metal, and now more metal, Knives out, gold spilling into puddles on the floor. Gems, precious little ones. She shakes off the memories and climbs up to the next landing. There she enters a matching hallway to the one below. One long passageway with rooms on either side. However, she spies a figure moving in the distance. A shape shrouded in darkness, yet holding aloft a light source. It is from this apparition that the strange noises emanate. She approaches slowly, fearing the figure might be a ghost, for it seems to flitter to and fro, as though it were some virtual image fighting to remain solid. She takes one step, and then another, one hand reaching up for her necklace out of habit, but the necklace is no longer hanging there. She is curious where it could be. She never removes it. However, our nurse is given no more time to think about that. The creature in front of her has stopped and is now turning towards her. She thinks to call out to it, but at the same time she is frightened. And then it is too late. It holds out the light to her, shrouding itself in even more darkness as the light shines brightly enough to pierce the nurse's very soul. The figure ceases its noise briefly and moves backwards. Then, with conviction, it comes forward again and renews cries, or could that be chanting? The nurse feels frozen to the spot. Some kind of smell, some feeling in the floor, a heaviness, and then a lightness to her being, and the light in front of her shining from that figure. And then, of course, the charming music, the chanting. She intuits much suddenly, as though a large file were being downloaded into her brain, an impression, a symphony, an opera. She knows now what she needs to do. A waltz of sorts. She must go on her way now, to the light, through the light, into the beam, down below into the belly of the beast, to be taken, transported to the light, to her loved ones above. Kooky spooks, the man says, lowering his device. With just a few facial twitches, he has activated communications. This hallway's clear. Moving on to the next level. And so visiting hours are over at this small hospital, out in the rural dark, on this cold winter's evening. Someone has come to clean house, as it were, and it is time for our nurse to end her shift. Her presence no longer required. She no longer needs to take up space in her old haunt. May she finally get some peace of mind. And so this was a tale told of one of the visitors and walk-ins to the Crimson Memorial Hospital, out in Burnt House, and just down the road a ways from the West Sylvania Lunatic Asylum.